and it's Elizabeth Emken. And we were going to talk earlier, but we didn't get an opportunity. So anyway, she's going to talk to you about her candidates for the U.S. Senate. And please listen to what she has to say.
Thanks so much. Thanks very much. I really appreciate you having me. I'm just going to give you a couple of pieces of information about my background and how excited I am to take on Dianne Feinstein and the truly great opportunity we have to really just shake up what we've seen here in the state the past, 20 years. It's time for something different. Just real briefly, I have been blessed to have two careers. I spent my first career was with IBM. I did cost and financial analysis for them. Hi there. Looking at various cost centers and how to become more efficient, and boy, do our federal agencies need a little dose of that. My second career was a draft. My son was diagnosed with autism, and I became an advocate for him and children like him. Back in Washington, D.C., I did multiple pieces of federal legislation. I've had bills in 30 different state houses across the country. Let me tell you what was unique about my federal legislation. I put in accountability mechanisms. These are what will appear as common sense to you and I, but are lacking right now in our programs back in D.C. I put in a public-private partnership that had to put together a strategic plan. What are you going to do with resources that come your way? And then a report to Congress. How did you do when you were given those resources? And then I put in sunset provisions so that it wasn't something that just went on forever with no accountability. This sounds so basic. It's not happening in our federal agencies today. I intend to go back to Washington, D.C. and make this a standard and not an exception. The thing that sent me into pursuing public office, however, was Obamacare. It was my citizen moment when I said, I cannot stand by and watch other people who do not know what they're doing with health care and health insurance reform send our country into really a place where we will never be able to get back to the health system that we've all become familiar with. I so strongly believe that we must repeal Obamacare that I said I will put myself out there and run for U.S. Senate here in California. Dianne Feinstein is oddly vulnerable. She is polling worse right now than Barbara Boxer was at the same time in her 2010 cycle. It is the Feinstein moderate is a myth. Her voting record is as bad as Nancy Pelosi's and Barbara Boxer's. She's been in politics 42 years. This is an anti-incumbent year. She's got to make the case that she deserves a fourth term when she herself has been responsible for running up $6.5 trillion in debt since the Democrats took over Congress in 2007. It's outrageous. It's a very simple story when you think about it. Why should Dianne Feinstein get 6 more years when we owe $15 trillion, when we're on our way to being like Greece, except that we have better beaches? I will tell you, I will outrun her figuratively and literally. I ask for your support. I very much appreciate the time today, and I don't know if we have time for questions. I'm happy to answer any.
I would hope that you would be very verbal on foreign policy too, with this administration stabbing Israel in the back.
I couldn't agree more. Let me tell you, I have my educational background. I spent some time at Cambridge University. I studied the Middle East and China, issues in China. So I'm sure Dianne Feinstein feels I'm no threat there, but I look forward to conversations with her. I think the administration's lack of immediate response to the threat of Iran was devastating, and we're now paying the price for it, and we're going to have to now put forward probably more resources to stop and thwart a nuclear Iran than we would have had the administration moved promptly. But I absolutely think there's much to challenge her leading the foreign affairs as well as the president in terms of how they've handled Iran.
About your energy policy, do you have an energy policy?
Yeah, well, we might want to start by having a pipeline that our friendly neighbors to the north it's really outrageous. And now the president just cannot imagine why gas prices are $4.50 a gallon, right? Why? I mean, he honestly is not putting together that his inaction regardless of how long it would have taken for the pipeline clearly to deliver oil, it sent a message that we're not serious about our oil resources. And now, you know, Canada, what, they're going to send it to China, send the oil directly to China? It's outrageous. I think she's going to be very vulnerable on it. And as gas prices continue to go up, I'm going to be talking about it every day.
Could you kindly tell us how many opponents you have, and also, I forgot what
You think
endorsements.
I'm actually the only candidate to my knowledge that has announced legislative endorsements. I have a very nice list. Former Secretary of State Bill Jones. I have multiple members of the Assembly. Lou Euler with the Tax Association. I encourage you. I think we have a sheet that we're passing around on my endorsements. To my knowledge, I'm the only candidate that has put together a full statewide team, including finance directors and communications, online. We're going to have to be everywhere, guys. The ground, over the air. One of the things you'll see me do differently. Look, I am not a millionaire, a billionaire, a CEO, or a movie star. I am going to do every single step of what I believe is necessary in a campaign. The ground, online, over the air, you name it. There are multiple different folks who have announced for this race. I am asking for your support very early so that we can consolidate and focus on the real target, and that's Dianne Feinstein.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
One of the things we've invited her and other candidates to our endorsing convention that's going to be held in March.
Great.
Pick up a copy of the Grassroots, which is this paper here. Tells you all about it. I want you to read it. Anyway, I thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And maybe later today.
I will be around all day.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Under the desert, let me know. I'll put you in touch with